Let me. Perfect. So first of all, thank you for taking time to talk with me. Really enjoyed the film.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Yes. So I'm going to go ahead and hop right into the questions. So in the past, you've had a few roles that have really been in comedy films and series, but your role in QUASI, I would say, is one of the more overtly comedic that you've done. What was it like getting a role that allowed you to really shine comedically?
It was scary. It was awesome and shocking. I got a phone call saying that these guys want to work with you. And I've been a huge fan. So I was kind of like, really? Me? Huh? Okay. And I read about 30 pages in. I'm like, I have to do this movie. This is awesome. I love Monty Python. This is so in the ode to Monty Python. And I love those guys. Got on the horn with them, Zoom meeting, Steve, Kevin, and immediately Steve, makes fun of my last name. So I give him back something and we just immediately hit it off. And it was like, this is going to be fun. We're going to have this. It's going to be great.
Yeah. And you mentioned being a fan of the Broken Lizard guys. What was it like getting to, work with them as the creative forces behind the film?
It was so fun. I mean, they're just such a great group of guys. It's like its own little fraternity. And the support that comes from them and the love, and they don't take themselves seriously. They're dads. They're guys. They go out in baseball caps and hoodies. Like that's who they are. And that's how they lead their set. And, people want to continue to work with them. They've been working with the same people for years. And some of them are family members because they keep people, because people want to continue to work with them. And I'm one of them, just so you know.
Yes, absolutely. So, I mean, you talked about how, scary it was to step into this role. Between comedy and action, which genre do you think is more challenging and why?
That is a very good question and a very hard question because they're both difficult, I think that probably the action stuff, because that really does take a lot of focus and it takes coordination and it takes time. Where, if you do enough of it, it becomes like second nature, which is how I feel about it now. But like acting, comedy, same thing, right? It's a muscle. You got to keep using it. And, I think the more you do it, the easier it gets. So I'm going to say they're pretty balanced.
Yeah, no, I definitely can get that. And I think, one of the things that really stands out about your character in the film too, is that I would say it's, one of the emotional cruxes of the film. And you have to find this balance between funny and endearing. So how do you kind of go about finding this, this synergy between the two sides of the characters?
I think it was great on the page. It was easy to find her. And I think because, Lemmy and I already had such a great connection, it was easy to find that love, that connectivity, that feeling of warmth that came through because of that.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I think, the really other defining part of your character is that the character is about more than just beauty. The intelligence of the character is really the main focus. So how do you think that a role like your role in this film can help counter stereotypes?
Well, I think that's exactly it. I think that these guys really wrote a really amazing female character. I love that she's the smartest person in the room at all times. She knows it. And also she's very empowered. She's this strong woman. I think this is going to be great for gals to watch. And that's the nice thing too about this movie in particular. I think, because you have that romantic relationship as well, I think it broadens the audience a little bit. It's not just a bro movie. It has that, but it also has the older, like Monty Python classic comedy, and it has the romance, and for everybody.
Yeah,
maybe not small children, but
yeah, I don't think small children should be watching this one.
No.
But of course, the film is based on the classic Quasimodo story, but it's a very different take on that. What do you think makes this version of that story something that audiences should want to see?
It's so different. Ultimately, he has a hump. That's pretty much, and it's at that time period. No, I think that there's some really interesting things being said underneath You know what I mean? Uh, Funny, but also poignant. And I think that it's just it's weird and kinky, and it's going to be one of those movies that people have to watch again because they're going to be laughing over a joke because the last joke was so funny. So it's one of those things that you're just going to keep wanting to watch over and over and over and over again. Um, and I think that's what makes it really, really special. There's just
Yeah,
just nonstop.
absolutely.
It doesn't stop. Like once that train's going, there's no pausing. There's no
Yeah,
good.
absolutely. And I think, something that's really interesting about comedy films in the past few years even is that, they've changed from being this communal experience where you go to the movie theaters to watch them. And now a lot of them, like QUASI, are being released at home for people to watch at home. So how do you hope that people, still get that funny element, that laughter, even though they aren't with other people who are laughing at the same time?
I think that's where you go to friend's house, you watch it with your family, you watch it, I think that streaming has changed a lot of things, especially going to the theater. I mean, comedies don't necessarily always do well in the theater because people don't want to go out for anything maybe other than, an action movie or, kids movie, Pixar movie or something. Um, so it's such a great place for people to be able to watch it consistently over and over again. Oh, it's Saturday. You know what? I want to laugh. Hey, let's watch this movie. You know what I mean? It gives that freedom. And I think it reaches a broader group of people.
Yeah, absolutely. And were there any moments in the film that stood out to you as particularly hilarious, whether there were a moment that you were in or a moment that somebody else had that would be what you would call like your favorite scene in the movie without spoiling it?
I mean, I give a hump job. So there's that. That
Yeah,
was pretty epic. That was improv. That was a thing.
that was improv.
That day got weird. But it
That was
was
improv. That wasn't like on the page.
no. It's just no. No, that one, we just on the day were like, how can we make this weirder and more insane? And there's another scene that ended up having to get cut we shot on the same day, which was at the end of the movie, but they had to, shorten it. So they got rid of it, which will probably be on the DVD outtakes, which is also equally as uncomfortable.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, you played a lot of really iconic characters in your career. What do you think? Who would win in a battle of the wits between Queen Catherine and Mockingbird?
Oh, I knew you were going to ask that. You said, of the wits.
Battle of the wits.
I'm going to probably say Mockingbird only because she's probably a little more worldly. But I will say they are very similar characters. I did, take Bobby with me into a little bit of Catherine.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, what you talked about the improv that you did in the role. How much improv did you do and how much of it was on the page, would you say?
I mean, we always did what was on the page. We got that down, make sure we got that. And, then it was like, okay, let's play. Let's see what happens. I don't know actually how much he used that was improv, but Hef did say that 80% of the trailer is improv.
Wow. That's definitely impressive. And do you find, the improv side of things to be particularly challenging?
At first, I was nervous about it, walking in with these guys who were like, "It's just what they do." But I think it was immediately, I immediately felt comfortable based on how much they took me and how safe I felt. They make you feel so safe. There's not a bad pitch. Come on, shoot it. And then it's like, okay, let's go. And so I just had to listen, and then because I didn't know what they were gonna say, and then you just start riffing.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much again for taking time to talk with me. Really enjoyed the film, and I look forward to seeing what you do next.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a wonderful day.